Page 115, Jesus Messiah. 4/4 time in the key of G major, 1 sharp. Very carefully, let's look at this. Right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See, it's tied. Second measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And lift up. And that's pretty much it for the introduction. Third line down, you're starting here, and then a 4-1, 1, hold the D down, it's a whole note, and then we start the piece, 1, 2, 4. Let's go over this rhythm. This is the last measure, the third line on page 115. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's the second finger on that last note. Top of page 116. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 on that chord, and then next one 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 third line down 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Fingering here, and this happens in several places. I recommend this fingering. Second measure, third line, you're here. Use the fifth finger on the 8th note again. So you can do a 1, 2, 4 here. The idea is you got to go from here to here faster than you go from here to here. So I don't want to be using the same fingers when it's quick. So I use the same fingers when it isn't quick. So I'm using 5 and then 5 again and then 4 here. And this, as I said, happens in various places. Same fingering every time here. And then you can go on with theirs. Last line on page 116, first measure. I recommend, rather than fifth finger on that here, because your fifth finger's here, use third finger and then 1, 2, 3 on the chord. And this happens in several places, and I use the same fingering every time. So it's here, here, and then again, and then the 5 on the 8th notes. Let's go over to page 117. A lot of this is very repetitious. Go down to the bottom, the last line, in fact the last measure. You're here. For those last 8th notes, I recommend a 2-1 here. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's a 2-1 for the 2 G's there. Then on page 118, you're here. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now on those G's you can use thumb on both, or you can use 2-1 on both. It's your choice. It's good practice to use 2-1 on them. If you need practice at using different fingers on repeated notes, this is a good place to do it. So forth. And that's very repetitious, and then it gets down at the bottom of the page on the chorus again, and we've had this. Same fingering, I used the little finger on those 8th notes. So and at the bottom of at the last measure, you're here, and again I use a 3 on the 8th note, and then a 1, 2, 3 for the chord. We've had this before, it's the same stuff, and then 1 and 19 is a repeat of stuff we've already had. For the left hand, keep the left hand soft out of the way. It's just supporting with harmony and stuff. It's no big deal, I hope. Second line, second measure on page 115, or first measure, I'm sorry, second line, first measure. I'll get there. Hang in there. It's here. I recommend a 4 for the F sharp D. It's a little awkward no matter how you do it. I just like to connect that. Don't know why, I just do. Third line down. If your hand's big enough, you can do a 3 on the A, but you gotta hold it down when you play the D, because it's tied. If your hand's not big enough, then you gotta use their fingering. But that's okay. Now if you can, if you're gonna do that, I recommend a third finger on the D, rather than little finger. That way you're in position for the next note, which is a G down here. Otherwise you gotta go here. That's awkward. I don't recommend it. So third finger on the D if you can, or even second finger, that's 2. And then you're ready to go on. Last line, you're here. I typically will do a 4-1 on the next one and a 3-1 on the next one. This is just connecting the bass line. I'm feeling it with the fingers. It's like we do with the melody. Because next to the melody, it's the bass line you want to bring out, if you bring anything out. On page 116, second line, it's here. If you can, do a 4-1 for the D, B, so, and then here. Yeah, all I'm doing is legato, right? So, and I don't use the same finger. On page 118, second line in the left hand, this is the last measure. You're here. They're saying fourth finger on the F sharp, so you can put little finger on the E. You don't need to. You can do third finger and then fourth finger on the E, because you got a fifth finger coming up for the D. See, and I like that better. So again, the last measure of the second line on page 118. I do a third finger on the F sharp, and then a 4 for the next note, and then a 5, and then a couple measures rest so you can move down. On page 119 at the bottom, the last measure, you're here. Substitute, put a thumb on it, and then for the last note, it's an 8/8 under it, so you got to go down to here. Put the hands together carefully. At the beginning, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is a slow piece anyway. On the third line down, second measure. You're here. At the end of the measure, you got these 4 notes down, all held down. And then we go on. Very repetitious. At the top of page 16, we've had this already. Top of page 118. Let's go over there. Here. you get the rest. It's very repetitious, I think you'll find it. You can add the dynamics later on your own. Let's do some pedaling. For the most part, I'm pedaling it either once each measure or once every 2 beats or so forth. But I don't want it to get too blurry. So let's take a look at it. At the beginning, and it's overlapping pedaling, so I do the fingers first and then the pedal follows afterward. It overlaps them. So at the beginning it's here, 1 and 2. Now here I don't like that sound. So I'm going to change it on after I play the, I'm going to lose the A, I don't want to. 1, right there, I'm changing it after I play the G. Next measure, I lift it up on the A. Third line down, second measure, I don't pedal it until I play the F sharp, and then I can go on. And again, I'm pedaling it here at the beginning and here. When I play that note again, that chord again, I change the pedal. I'm doing that pretty much in every measure. I'm changing it on the end of here, change it, pedal here, and that goes on for a while. On page 116, the same thing. And the first line, last measure, you can pedal the whole measure. Second measure, I'm not pedaling the 8th notes. Second line, second measure. You can pedal the whole measure if you want. But then in the next measure, every 2 beats. A lot of it is just every 2 beats, but again, don't let it get blurry. On page 18, again, it's pretty much every 2 beats. Fast because of the video. I don't want the video to last forever, but this is a fairly slow piece and I'm playing it way out of context for that. It's probably driving you crazy if you know this piece. However, I'm guessing if you know the piece, you don't need me to help you with it. You can figure it out. But really at the I mean, this is moderately slow. It's up to you. How fast would you sing it? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 4. Fast would you sing that? You decide. I'm going to do this slowly, just page 115, and then I'll turn the page and count in again and do 16 to 17, then I'll turn the page and count in again and finish it up. Not doing any repeats or any of that. I'm just going to go straight through it slowly. Just if you want, you can double check your notes and your rhythms with me. You can do the dynamics and all that wonderful stuff on your own. So I'm going to give 4 counts and then begin. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and page. 1, 2, ready and go, and 3 and 4, 3 and 4, and 2 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2. Go on to the next measure. 1 and 2 and 3. Turn the page. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1.